I'm Allie. I came out after 20 years of marriage and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melissa and I have 2 kids and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles. Welcome to the Lesbian Chronicles,
where Allie is coming to us live from a high school gym.
Live from the high school gym, where I'm sure there's a lot of sex under the bleachers happening right now.
I'm sure. Like there's a lot of sexual awakenings happening.
The theater
in the high school gym.
I'm chaperoning today for a theater performance, and there is like a lot of like romantic like dances and references to like Catholic school kids.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm like, shit, I probably should be out there watching them.
Right? Who knows what's going down?
Exactly. It's all good though. Anyway, so how are you?
I'm good. I just got back from a week at the beach. I shouldn't say I'm good. I'm okay. I hurt my back like a week and a half ago. And that has been really difficult because I can barely like bend over. I probably need to go to the doctor at this point, but I'm one of those people that's like, I hate the doctor. I put it off as much as possible, but right now I probably need to go.
I guess you're getting old.
I know. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then my little baby puppy got spayed. And so that was, surgery, right? And then I got her groomed yesterday and the groomer cut her. And I had to like rush to go get her. She's bleeding like on me as I'm like driving. Yeah, like to get her to the vet. The vet got her in right away and they had to sedate her and like stitch her up. Like it was bad.
Holy shit.
But she's doing a lot better today. She's sitting in my lap right now. She's got her little baby stitches. And the groomer did like they didn't charge me for their service and they covered the vet bill.
Oh, good.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
My little puppy is at her 2-week boot camp.
Oh, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. You guys, listen, this dog was a complete crazy, wild, zero, like no skills of any kind. He's sending us videos where I'm not kidding. She will go to place, stay there permanently until somebody tells her she can get up. She's sitting, she's staring, waiting for commands. Like I can't even fathom what's happening over there, and I don't want to know. But like, and I love animals. Like I'm a vegetarian, I'm all the things, but this dog was out of her fucking mind, and we had no other choice but to send her. And I've got to say, the videos coming in are, we've got.
Well, I guess the question is she going to listen to you when
we're gonna see?
When you're saying place?
He trains me when we get her back.
Oh, do you go for 2 weeks as well?
I hope I go for 2 weeks. But his property looks like heaven, actually. But,
right? Like, can I have a 2-week break where no one bothers me? I just have shock treatments every day.
Exactly. I don't know that that's what happens, but I do know that he's like walking her through Home Depot, no leash. And she's sticking right by his side, like essentially just like looking up at him, waiting for the next thing.
Damn.
I know.
Well, here's hoping.
Here's to hoping. But anyway, we have a kick-ass guest today.
We do. Our friend Stacey is joining us today.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here. Hi.
Yes. Am I right, Stacey, that you haven't lived in Atlanta that long? Did I remember that right? Or have you been here a long time, but I just have
She's in Nashville.
Oh, you're in Nashville, but you came to Atlanta for Porch Fest, but you didn't. Okay, why did I thought for some reason you were moving to Atlanta.
Well, I used to live in Atlanta. I lived in Marietta. I went to Marietta High, like 9th grade to 11th grade.
Okay.
Yes.
But
I did live in Marietta, but I live in Nashville now.
Oh, I love Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville's fun.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And Nashville Pride was so fun. Like,
yes.
You hang out with Stacey at Nashville Pride?
Yes. Yeah. I stayed in Stacey's apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a great weekend.
We had a big slumber party.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild. What side of Nashville are you on?
Franklin.
Okay. Yeah. That's a beautiful part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's so pretty here.
So a big reason why we wanted to have Stacey on is because you are very recently out, have very recently gone through this process, and you've been open enough about it to do an interview at Nashville Pride on the news. So
Yes.
which is
Which
hilarious.
I still can't believe that happened.
I know. No,
I'm
were you
like-
sober when they asked you, or had you had some
No.
drinks?
No, I was not sober.
She was trying to push it off on me. She was
I
like,
totally did.
my friend Melissa will be right here. She can do it.
Let me get her.
I
Let me
was
get her.
calling her. She wouldn't pick up the phone. He's like,
Oh
no,
my
it's okay. You're here.
God,
I'm gonna
Melissa, you suck.
Well, I mean, technically I couldn't have done it, but you know, what's funny to me is in my mind, I was like, well, no one watches the news. Like, it's not like anyone's really going to see it. And then Stacey had like 5, 6 people reach out.
yeah.
Like,
That next morning, my phone blew up. They're like, dude, you're on the news. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, do I look drunk?
Oh God, it was great. It was great.
Nobody watches, of course.
I don't know. Like, I voice local news stories all the time, and it's maybe like 3 times a year that someone's like, "Oh, I heard your voice on the news." So
Yeah. Why didn't
I
you
don't
take
know.
a spot and plug Chronicles?
Because I really can't with my job. Like,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
yeah,
All
I would
right.
have had to say no. But Stacey did great. She was a
Carried
reporter's dream. I could tell by her sound bites that reporter was probably like frothing at the mouth. Like, this woman's fantastic.
Oh, so you represented the tribe well, Stacey.
Yes, I did.
Good. Well, tell us a little bit about, like when you started having these feelings, and then when did you actually come out?
Well, I started having these feelings of being attracted to, women. Basically, like my earliest memory probably would be like 12 or 13. So I knew from like an early age. But like being in the 90s, and also I was in Catholic school, very religious family. I was basically like, I can't say anything. And also, even if I was gonna try to say something, I wouldn't have known who to talk to about it. Like, so I just kept it to myself, and I just thought, well, it'll go. These things will go away. Maybe it's just like a phase or something, And instead it kind of went like boy crazy and turned to like dating a bunch of boys to try to like get that feeling to go away, but it never really did go away.
Yeah, that's so similar to me with the Catholic. I'm Catholic school K through 12, same feelings early. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really did up until like, I was like 35 or so, thought like I will burn in hell. Like if I admit this or act on it or anything, like, I mean, it was so like ingrained in me what they had taught me that I really did believe that even as an adult.
Yeah, no, I relate to that so much. And there really is no space or even language around. It wasn't even brought up. If it was brought up, it was brought up in a very negative, like, this is a sin.
You're gonna burn in hell.
Yeah, look at this weirdo.
Yeah.
Doing this. Yeah.
So go from there, Stacey. From the boy crazy stage, what happened after that?
Well, during that time, like I just always knew I wanted to be a mother. That's like, some people want to be an actress or a teacher, I just wanted to be a mother from just early age. And, I didn't know how to become a mother without marrying a man in during that time. I mean, it wasn't talked about like it is now. And so I was like, that's what I really want. I want to be a wife. I want to be a mother. I want to have the house. My family, my parents were divorced. My grandparents were divorced. My aunt and uncle were divorced. All I knew growing up was divorce. And I think I just had it in my mind. I want to be married, and I want to like live that dream, married life that you see on movies and stuff with the white picket fence and the dogs and the kids and everything.
Yeah.
And so I met Sean, that's my ex-husband, when I was 18. I had just graduated from high school, and I met him. He's older. He's 6 years older than me. And, he already had his career going, and he was looking for a wife. And, we just kind of hit it off, and I just thought, you know what? Okay, this is going to be my life. I'm going to marry this man. I'm going to have the kids I want. I'm going to live the life I want to live. And at that time, like I never stopped thinking about women. Like, and when I was with him, or when I had the other boyfriend, I would think anytime like during like sexual acts or whatever, I would think about women. But after that, I would just be like, try to put it out of my mind again and live life, like day to day. And I was able to do that. So I thought, okay, well, I can marry him, and I can get through this and do it.
And happy. Like, I relate to all that so much, because it's like, yeah, I did have all those feelings, and even throughout my marriage, but I wasn't miserable. I loved Chris. He was my best friend. He was an amazing partner. We had a social group that we'd have dinner with friends. It was a blast.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't feelings of like, oh, I'm rotting away in this house. It was, we're raising babies, we're going to games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I got married young. Had my daughters young and my son young. So like I was full on like in my 20s in mom mode, wife mode, a house full of kids, like
full life.
So it was very easy for me to like push it way down at that time.
Happily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until when?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what happened? What was
when I turned 30 and the kids were a little bit older, that's where I can really pinpoint it of when it started coming for me a little bit more. And I started reading like lesbian romance fiction books on my Kindle, like, or on my phone, because I didn't want to buy it because I didn't want anybody to see me reading
see the cover,
or gone to see me reading a lesbian book.
You have like one of those fake covers on top.
Yeah, exactly. I think I actually did do that one time on a book that I couldn't get on Kindle. I did, but I
had the grocery bag cover. Remember where you cut the paper bag and like
the book protectors.
The book protectors.
I would start thinking about women more like during the day too. I noticed like around my early 30s, and so I kind of made like a pact with myself. I thought, okay, well, I'm only going to think about women like at night once I done everything and I put the kids to bed, and not even like in a sexual way too. I just mean like in general. Like I was like, I'm putting the kids to bed, and then I'm like getting ready for bed, and I'm going to lay down in my bed, and then if I need to think about it or I'm going to think about it, I'll think about it. And
so fascinating.
That's what I did for years. Like I would not allow myself to think about it during the day.
Only between the hours of 9 and 11 at night.
Yeah.
They say like if you're an alcoholic, you're an alcoholic if you make rules around drinking. Stacey,
right?
She's making rules around women.
When she can think about women.
I did for years.
And then you having crushes like into the day, you're not exploring it, but like, in my daily life in my 30s and with these babies, there were times I'd be at like school and I would meet some kick-ass woman, and I'm thinking, or I'd meet a gay woman that I'm like, if only like I wasn't married with these 3 kids. Did that ever come up?
Yeah, no, I never
met anyone.
Do that. No.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, me neither.
It was more like movies. I had crushes on actresses or like, TV characters or women in books, like fictional characters or and then when Instagram came around, I followed these 2 women on Instagram who were lesbians and who had gotten married, and one of them was trying to get pregnant, and I followed their story for years on Instagram. And so like that like fascinated me because I was just like, wow, they're doing it. Wow. I mean, they got married like in a Catholic church, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is like
my dream.
Is what I would have wanted. Like I just didn't know it was even possible.
That's so Melissa and I love to talk about like what movie characters or like what TV women were like. We both have people that we look back and like we were way into.
So many. I don't even know where to begin.
Don't even know where to begin. Okay, they were all.
I'll say Salma Hayek in Fools Rush In.
Fools Rush In is a great one. Yes,
like she was. I was crushing hard on her.
Yeah.
And then I would say I was just telling this story the other day, but this is Sound of Music. Liesl, the older daughter, when she's like singing and dancing in the rain, and then she comes back all wet in that dress, like That like undid me. Like
I did not see that coming. Liesl. Oh, you got, yeah, I can get with Selma Hayek, but Liesl, I'm gonna have to go back and see
I'm
that.
like, that's what I knew.
I don't think I've even heard of that.
You
So,
ever heard of
Liesl in the Rain?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Did you ever see
Man.
Fools Rush In? Because Fools Rush In is kind of a sleeper.
Yeah. I
Not
I
one
saw that
everyone
in the
knows about.
theater, but I don't
It's
think I
so
watched it
good.
again.
Oh, it's
when
so
she
good.
when they get married in Vegas and she has on that lingerie and she's standing up against the window.
Yeah.
That's the scene.
That's
That is
it.
the
That
scene.
did it. That did it.
That was it.
That did it.
That was it. Mine is Blue Crush.
Oh yeah.
That I like
That's a
go
good
back
one.
to a lot of but that's
know.
later.
We were just talking about this on one of our last episodes, like movies and stuff, and I had some like old school ones, like
You
The
really
Journey of
did.
Natty Gann, like
Oh yeah.
like really old. But also, I want to bring this up because Allie was talking about like the Wonder Woman combo.
Underoos.
And we've had like probably 5 people email us and be like, it's Underoos, like because she couldn't remember the name. I don't know if you had Underoos, Stacey, but that would have
No.
been
only the lucky kids.
I mean, I recognize the name now, but
Yeah, no, I definitely had it.
Oh, and Dream a Little Dream, Meredith Salinger, I think it's her name, and her character Lainey, who actually named a dog after her character because I was so in love with her. Have y'all ever seen that movie?
Okay.
No, but I think Meredith Salinger is the girl that's in Journey of Natty Gann.
Oh.
Yes, she is. Oh my God, we were crushing on the same girl.
Yes.
It's typical lesbians after the same woman.
And fun fact, she's now married to Patton Oswalt.
Yes.
Who has a joke about how he looks like a lesbian.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love it.
It's all coming full circle.
Yes.
Right?
Melissa, she tweeted me on Twitter.
No,
yes.
That's amazing.
I told her how I named my dog after her and the character from Dream a Little Dream, and she messaged me back. I was like,
oh my God, I would have died.
I would
That's
die.
so cool.
Melissa says I would die.
I would. Oh,
I was so in love with her.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Jeez.
so life goes on and you're having these like imaginary, these people that are not really available because they're on screen. And then what happens that eventually, like, we talk about like a defining moment that was like, okay, like this is real. Like for us, it was a catalyst who showed up. For you, what was it?
Basically what happened was, well, I was very
And is
close to my
Sean in the know? Is Sean like where?
No, Sean had no one knew. I hadn't told no one. I hadn't even told like a best friend at this point. Like I never had spoken the words out loud.
Okay.
Never acted on it, never spoke it out loud. I just knew.
Okay. Just fantasizing about Liesl alone in your bed.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
between the hours of 9 and 11.
Between 9 and 11.
That's only when I would allow it.
Liesl out in the rain and you. Okay, got it.
So I was very close to my grandmother and she got sick. And I started spending more time with her, taking her to the doctors, and I was with her when she got diagnosed with cancer. And I was her caregiver during that time. And it happened all very fast. Like we found out she had cancer and within 4 months she died. Oh. And I was with her the day she died. Oh. And just having her die in front of me like that and having taken care of her, and we were very close, something it triggered me. It just weeks, it didn't even take weeks, honestly. It was like a couple days later. I was just like,
I gotta live my life.
We only have one life.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I can't live this way anymore. Like I can't just be like having this life I want in my dreams at night, or only allowing myself to think about it at night.
Literally in your dreams.
Yeah. And after she died, things changed quickly for me. I didn't tell anybody, but it got harder for me to ignore it.
Right.
And then I was thinking about women more during the day too, and like allowing myself to. And going back to like how I told y'all I'm from a divorced family, that also was part of it for me. I think in my mind I had signed this like imaginary, contract, like you are never going to get divorced because you swore you wouldn't, you saw what divorce did to the family. And so it was like this stand in my own head, like, you cannot get divorced. And I knew that once I told him and once I told everybody, I would have to get divorced, because the whole point was like, I just knew that my wife was out there and that like I'm supposed to live this other life. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like this like feeling that was inside of me. And it just all of a sudden got too intense to ignore anymore.
Yeah, it's
And
like you
so,
pushed it down so long, and then
yeah,
the catalyst was really a death of your grandmother.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so my grandmother had actually given me a card to a therapist. Like during that time, I was bringing her back and forth to the doctor. One of the times she came in the car and she said, "Here, I got you this card. It's for a therapist." His cards were just like at the receptionist area. So I took it from her and I looked at it, and on the bottom it said LGBTQ friendly, and it had this little rainbow bird on it. And I was like, so I quickly just like put it in my purse. And I was like, "Thank you." But I was driving her home and I was like, why would she give me that? Like, does she know? Does she not know? And that's like one of my biggest regrets, is that I did not tell her, because later she came back like 2 weeks before she died. We were sitting at her dining room table and she asked me, she's like, sorry, she's like, "Do you have anything that you want to talk about?" Or like, she kind of made a joke about it. She's like, "Are there any secrets?" But like, she didn't mean it in a mean way. Like, she meant it like, "I'm here, like we can
Yeah,
talk."
like I'm your person to tell. I'm safe.
Yeah. And I said, "No," I just kind
Yeah.
of like laughed it off or whatever. And she said, and then I kind of said, "Well, do you?" Like, we were just, teasing each other. And she's like, "No, I've told you everything." So I wish I would have told her in that moment, but somehow she knew, because she gave me that card and she tried to talk to me that day. And I really do think she knew, and she would have been a huge supporter.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe she
like,
was, and she could sense it within you?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody else asked me that too. We would watch, like, she loved romance and 90 Day Fiance. And I can't remember the couple's name, but the men, one of them's from Mexico and the other one was from somewhere else. But like, that was one of her favorite storylines, was the gay couple on 90 Day Fiance.
Aww.
So like, and she was all about like, we had talked about how Pope Francis is trying to change things for the gay community. So I had all these opportunities to talk to her about it, but I just at that time, I just couldn't.
And she was Catholic. She was Catholic too.
Yes.
How old was she? I'm so curious.
She was 82.
82.
When she died.
Wow. She sounds like amazing.
She was amazing. Everybody loved her so much. Like, my kids were very close to her too. And she was an amazing person.
Is it your mother?
Yeah, my mother's mother.
Okay.
And I know she would be a huge supporter for me right now. 100%. She would be.
That's so amazing.
That is. Does your mom know that, like, all of that interaction that you had with her?
Oh yeah. So when my parents divorced, my mom had me when she was 18. So we were with her parents a lot, because she went back to school and she had 2 jobs. And so my family is small, but we're all close together. Close together.
Man, that is really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's interesting too, because I feel like that can be like such a catalyst to lead to this, because like I hear that so often, like so and so died and I just realized, like, this is it, like, life's short,
Oh yeah.
My mother-in-law passed away suddenly at 57, and that was really like, hit me hard.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, just look, I think so often we're searching for like a catalyst as a person, but sometimes it's an event,
Totally. Probably more often than not.
Yeah, really.
So then you give yourself permission to go, and what is that like? Initially, most people come out and are like, "Holy shit, what have I done?" Or, maybe you're meeting people that aren't what you envisioned, because it's never what you envisioned. Sometimes it's way better. There's times it's worse. There's times it just kind of is all over the map. What did that period look like for you?
Well, it still took me some time. She died in November 2020, and I didn't go see that therapist until August of 21.
Okay.
So it did take me time. But during that time though, I think like I started having like really bad anxiety, and got depressed and was just not okay. Like I couldn't figure out how to tell Sean. I couldn't figure out how to tell my mom. And so my therapist is like the first person I actually told out loud. And then after I told him, I told my mom. And then after I told my mom, I told that the following April, I told my ex-husband. And I just told him, I said, you know, I know this is going to come as a shock to you. And I'm so sorry that I had to keep this from you. I just didn't know how to tell you, but I'm gay. And I've known this about myself pretty much since middle school. And I can't be married anymore. I want a divorce because this isn't the life that I know in my heart that I'm supposed to be living. And he was shocked. He cried. He was shocked.
So interesting that you went, like Melissa and I went to that conversation with, let's go to therapy and fix it, or like, how can we be together with this new revelation? And you were so, I don't know, empowered to
clear.
You knew clear.
Yeah.
That's the best way to explain it. Because it's just, I knew inside myself, like 100% that this is what I was supposed to do. And I didn't want to waste time. I didn't want to give him false hope. Because there was nothing that he could have said to me or done to change my mind, because I knew that I loved him like a brother. And I don't want to be married to someone that I feel like is my brother.
Yeah.
It's not fair to me. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to our kids, our family. I knew it was going to be hard, but we were both too young to just try to settle for that type of marriage. And after watching Mimi die and her, just knowing that this is our one life here and I wanted to live it like how I knew I was supposed to. And he did say, can we go to marriage counseling? And I said, yes, we can. But I told him, I said, it's more for us to be able to get through this separation and divorce with someone, like helping us and helping you, because I wanted him to have someone to talk to, because before he was kind of like one of those people that didn't believe in therapy. So he had never been to a therapist like in his whole life. And I knew if I said yes, that it would get him like in the door of therapy. And to this day, he still goes to therapy every 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are you two still close?
We are co-parenting our son. I have a 17-year-old son, a 19-year-old daughter, and a 22-year-old daughter. And so, we're still in contact with each other, and on friendly terms. And
okay.
I mean, we've been together a long time. I was with him since I was 18, so we were married for 20 years.
Yeah, I feel that way with my ex-husband. Like, he was such a huge part of my upbringing, really. I mean, I depended on him. I still think,
absolutely,
he's a wonderful father and friend and all those things.
I depended on him too. Yeah, that was another thing. It was very scary for me because he was the one in charge of all the financials, of maintenance, of taking care of cars, of taking care of everything. I had never, my job was, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, the dance lessons, like all that stuff.
Same.
So I had no clue. I had no clue how to do any of that.
I was same. Like, I remember having him show me how to do my checkbook. With checks, like to pay the bills. He's like, nobody writes a check.
I was like, Allie, what year is it?
That's what he said. He's like, no one actually writes a check.
How do I balance my checkbook? I've been meaning to do this for the past 40 years.
40 years. But it wasn't like I was a dipshit. Like, I remember, like, I always watched him do his job in like business, thinking to myself, like, I could, like, he was great at it, but I've always sort of was at home taking care of the kids. That's all I wanted, was to be a mom and have babies. I was thrilled. I would still love to have a baby. Like I can't, but I would love it. But it's all I wanted. But I do remember like watching him in business, feeling like I could do that. Like I never felt like, oh, I'm this dumbass who can't do anything and I have to depend on him. It was more like I chose to be with these kids.
Part of it too is like, you know that they're capable of handling it, and it's kind of like, well, if I don't have to deal with it,
I don't
go
have to
for
deal
it.
with
You
it.
know, like I didn't want to handle any of the financial
No.
stuff. Like it's boring.
It's boring and I'm busy with this stuff, and I didn't care. Like as long as the credit card worked to buy Target, like I don't care if
as long as you go to Target.
As long
Target
as
card's working.
Bills were paid and we were happy. Like I never felt like I didn't know a lot, and that was maybe I had a learning curve after, but he was, because of the therapy and because of our close relationship, happy to help me, and maybe it strengthened our bond in some ways.
Sean was happy to help me too. Every time I called him, I had a question, he answered me. He came over to the apartment a lot in the first year to help with something, or, you know, like, he was very helpful.
Right. I think there's something really beautiful about that too.
One thing, Stacey, that has really stood out to me since I've met you and seen your coming out process is like, you get like a gold star for making friends. Like she has done so good at like meeting people and building community. Can you talk a little bit about like what you have done to do that?
So basically, you know, once we separated, moved out of the house, I got an apartment. And I mean, this was like the first time I ever lived like on my own too, like, cause I had moved from my parents' house into Sean's house. So this was the first time I had lived on my own in my own apartment. So I had so much fun decorating it, really cute. And I suddenly had free time, you know, more free time than I was used to. So I decided to, try to meet as many people in the gay community as I could. So one of the first things I did was I joined a late in life lesbian online book club. And she was, at that time, she was doing it from Florida. She moved to Portland since then. And from that club, I met one of like my best friends now, who has a very similar story. And she only lives about 3 hours from here too. So it's great. And we were able to like really help each other in the beginning, like get through a lot of that. Like, I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about, but like there were so many moments where like I would just be like sitting in my apartment and just suddenly like start feeling like crazy, like, oh God, I can't believe I did this. Like I'm getting divorced and I told everybody I'm gay. Like I'm crazy. Like I left my husband.
Totally know that.
Yeah.
And so when I'd start to have like that crazy feeling, I would either text her or call her and be like, I'm starting to feel crazy again. Like, you know, talk me out of this. And she would be like, you're not crazy. We have to do this. We're just living our truth. So I'm so thankful that I joined that book club. And here in Nashville, I basically, one of the first things I did was I joined the Facebook page for the LGBTQ Nashville page, and kind of like basically just said, hey, you know, I'm recently out. This is who I am. Like, I'm looking for friends. If you would like to, you know, go walk or whatever, you know, I just said something like that. And I had several people message me who were just looking for friends also, and, you know, met up with them for coffee or for a walk. And then I found the Franklin Mixer, which they meet like every second Sunday of the month, and started going to those little mixers, and you can meet so many people doing that. And all different, you know, ages of people. And I've met a really good couple through the Franklin Mixer who we exchanged numbers, and then just started getting to know them better and went to dinners, and they've been very supportive of me also. And I'm trying to think what else that I did. But yeah, I mean, just like you have to be willing to like get yourself out there. If you can do that, you know, you can meet a lot of people that way.
What about dating?
Well, so how it happened is after I separated from Sean, that's when I met my first girlfriend, who she was the first woman like that I ever kissed or held hands with, anything. so, but she lived in another state. So I was in a long distance relationship. So I wasn't trying that whole first year, I wasn't trying to date people here because I had a girlfriend in another state. So I was truly just trying to meet friends in our community. And I was, able to do that, like, basically through social media. Like if you can find like on Facebook or, TikTok, even local groups that are like showcasing their meetups and stuff, and just go to it. And, I know that's hard for some people because it's hard to put yourself out there sometimes.
Yeah. By yourself.
And I know, by yourself. I get that. That's the hard part. But if you can just be uncomfortable, I always say, like, if I'm starting to feel uncomfortable doing something, like if you can just be uncomfortable for like a few minutes, like, then the reward's going to be so much greater than just that feeling. You can push through that feeling.
5 seconds of courage. It's
yes.
5
Okay.
seconds.
Yes, I love
and
that.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like to me, like just walk in.
So many. Yes.
Yeah, it's 5. Yes. Just I can do it for 5 seconds, and then you're in the circle. And if they don't envelope you in, then that's a good weed out. Like I don't. To me,
you don't want to.
I don't want to be with you anyway. But like if a woman walked in
like that anyway,
I am like literally, I would be so nice because I know how that feels to break into a conversation.
Yeah. And then that's another thing. I found a book club, an in-person book club here also for gay people. And I joined that. So if you can like think of something that you love and see if that is a thing where you live, or if it's not, then you can start it.
Wait, did you say it's a gay book club?
Yes.
In Nashville. I want to start here. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. So I met several people at that book club as well.
The first one you said was an online book club. Can you share, like, is that public that you can share where it is and stuff?
Still doing it. Yeah. I think she just calls it Late Blooming Lesbian.
Okay.
I'll send you all her information though. She's really cool. Her name's Nick.
Okay.
You would like her. She's really cool.
Because I'm sure people listening would definitely want to like join up with that, especially if it's like an online thing.
Absolutely. And she would be willing to talk to you too. She's very friendly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. She's on Instagram.
Awesome.
Do you ever use the Instagram? Like I always used to tell Melissa, like to me, if I was out there dating, I almost think better than dating apps is like just look through, like if Melissa's my friend, maybe look through her followers and find common ground and then follow those people.
Yeah.
And you could even like send them a DM if they post a band or like a book they love. Like, it's so easy to find things you have in common with people on Instagram.
Yeah. Another thing I did was volunteer. Cause for Franklin Pride, I reached out and I said, I would like to volunteer. And then, so once you say you're going to volunteer for something like that, you'll be put into like, a group. And so you can meet people that way because it's more like one-on-one than like going to a big mixer. This way you could just meet like, like 6 or 7 people because y'all are all going to be, doing this one thing together. So that's another idea too, is to do like volunteer work to try to meet people.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
When you were looking into social situations, did you have your buddy with you, or did you most of the time, or was she too far away to do anything together?
Oh no, she lives like about 3 hours from here.
Yeah, so no.
So yeah, she was able to come in a few times. But yeah, for the most part.
The thing that I've noticed though is that like so often there's other people there that are alone. Like I see that at Second Friday like all the time.
Yes.
Like, you're not gonna be the only one showing up alone.
You don't realize how many people go alone to these things. So
I appreciate too Stacey's ideas around like, because I probably wouldn't want to go to a bar like that. Just wouldn't. I would feel more comfortable at a book club or like that would be more my speed. So it's like it's nice to have other options than a party, because I feel like at a party I would feel kind of like a loser because I can walk around and talk to people, but I'm not going to be partying like crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know how to say that. I'm not my best self in that environment.
Yeah. And it's hard with, you know, in bars like with loud music or like the dance club, it's hard to like really get to know somebody or talk to somebody when
Yeah.
loud music is like blaring in the back, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And how did you meet your current girlfriend?
Through a mutual friend. And at the time we just really, because I was coming off the breakup from my first girlfriend. So I wasn't really trying to date at that time, but I told her, you know, I'd be interested in hanging out as friends and going to concerts and, you know, just restaurants and stuff with her group of friends. And so we just started hanging out that way and became friends. And next thing you know, one thing led to another, and we just realized that we had feelings for each other deeper than friends. So
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was really awesome. It's really sweet and special and totally in love.
Yeah.
And how are your kids doing now with everything?
Oh, my kids have always been like super supportive of me. I mean, this whole generation of kids, I feel like are just so easygoing with it, accepting of everyone. They did not really ever give me a hard time about it. They just always told me from the beginning that they wanted me to be happy.
Yeah. I would
That's
agree.
so awesome.
Yeah, my kids are around your kids' ages, and it's the same. Like my 19-year-old daughter she was younger when this all happened, but she's 19 now. But I remember her looking at me. She was crying after we told her what was happening, Chris and I. But she, in her like crying, said, "You have to do it. Like, you have to, Mom." So
Yeah.
it's just, I've never forgotten that. There was no even minute of please don't, or
Yeah.
so I always appreciated that.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. There was some sadness, but
Yeah.
it was never like, you can't do this.
No.
No one ever made me feel, my kids, I had friends that have made me feel guilty. That's a whole nother story. But my family has never made me feel guilty for making this decision to do this.
Even my old Catholics, like even the people that I thought, we do the Stations of the Cross as a family.
Yeah.
Like, this is my life. And she never made me feel bad. Like, if anything, she looks for ways to show me that it's fine. I don't know. I think we underestimate people.
Oh yeah.
But what about those friends, Stacey? Those were like kind of
Yeah.
more religious aligned
Fanatics.
friends.
Yeah.
Fanatics. I was trying to be nice.
One over the other. Yeah. One friend, it was more about the religious part of it. The other friend, some other things besides religion.
But look at all the new friends that you've made now.
Yes, exactly. I know. And I mean, the friends that do support me, like, wow, the love and support that I have got from them is like truly blows my mind. It's unbelievable. I'm so thankful.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
it's like
awesome.
it opens up room. And new friends, like people say, these old friends are so great, and some are, but the truth is that your life is seasons. And sometimes the friendships I had that I thought were my, forever weren't.
Yeah.
Space was opened up for new people.
Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I love your story, and it has a happy ending.
And it's so cool, Stacey, like, because I talked to you before you came out, like, we chatted on the phone, and it's just so cool to see like how far you've come, and like you've really done all the things, and it's just good for you.
Helped so much, Melissa. I remember exactly. I was sitting at a park in my car and talking to you on the phone, and I remember you told me, I think we were talking in March, and you said, you're gonna have to tell him, talking about my ex-husband, you're like, you're gonna have to tell Sean. And I was like, oh yeah, I am, huh? I'm gonna have to tell him.
You can't just be like, peace out, I'm leaving. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know why. It's like, of course I was gonna have to tell Sean, like, duh. But like having you like say it to me, for some reason, when I heard you say it on the phone, that's when it like really hit me. I was like, I am gonna have to tell Sean, and it's gonna be hard, but that's gonna be the first step that I have to do to be on this road, the road I want to take.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, for giving me the courage.
I'm so happy for you. Like, you're just seem so happy now. So
I am
great.
so happy. I am just, I'm like living my dream, honestly.
It was all worth it.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandallie@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Allie, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.